thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us at Glee TV. You've been coming to Glee for many years. How many?
At least 30 years, so long time.
That is amazing. What are the main changes you notice in the industry?
Well, there's less independence around now, so there's less people coming. But the big changes from a buyer's point of view, there's just constant innovation. So every year there's something new. But you have to look for it. You've got to dive in and get into the detail to see some of the differences.
What are you looking at to invest in the future?
Do you mean through Glee?
Yeah.
Well, anything that's slightly different that actually adds to what we're doing already. So we've got a very clear idea of who our customers are, and then it's a matter of trying to match products and plants to their lifestyles, really.
And in terms of sustainability, do you think customers are driving change, or you yourself are looking at more sustainable products?
Well, it's a bit of both, really, because the public are generally quite used to sustainability coming through supermarkets and their everyday shopping, where and we're having to look as well at how we can bring, recyclable materials in, materials that don't damage the world as much as they perhaps did, and just being better everywhere, really.
And like other industries, the garden industry keeps going up in terms of sales. Do you think this is a trend that will continue, or do you think it will stabilize?
Well, I think the biggest impact on our industry is the weather. Okay, at the moment the economy is having a bit of an impact, bad news on the television is having a massive impact, but people do like their gardens, and the one big advantage of COVID was the amount of people at home rediscovered their gardens, or for some people for the first time. And it's up to us now to stimulate as an industry. If we don't stimulate the public, then they'll just do the stuff they've always done. So we've got to reinvent ourselves all the time, come up with new ideas. And actually Glee this year, even in a difficult few years, lots of slightly different designs of things. Pots would be a good example, where there's lots of quite interesting shapes and materials coming through which weren't there a few years ago, but you see those sort of things in other outlets, not gardening outlets, but the magazines and TV and so on. So I think we're staying up fairly close to the...
And how about peat-free? Do customers demand peat-free compost?
They're starting to. They're struggling to know how to use it as well, and discovering that with them, because you have to treat them differently. A lot of people weren't aware there was an issue. Some of them are unhappy about it because peat is a fantastic product for growing plants in, but the alternatives they're having to learn about, and it's been a bit more expensive. So yeah, some are asking, some are demanding, some are reluctantly moving, but everyone will have to move very soon, and the product's getting better.
So what are the biggest changes you see in the near future?
My personal view is that we've got to start inspiring people to be more adventurous. So more adventurous with plants, more adventurous with the way they use their gardens, really make the garden the extra room outside. The British weather doesn't help that. And I think the next big thing could be services for people, which is difficult for garden centres to do at the moment, but if we could learn how to do some of the things people want to do, they can't do themselves or they don't have the knowledge. It's fairly obvious since lockdown that a lot of people coming into gardening have no idea about how plants grow, that you have to water them, you have to feed them and so on. So we need to find ways now of making that easier for them, and some of that might be services added onto garden centres.
And during the pandemic, many people took up gardening. Do you think that is just a trend, or do you think once you take up gardening, that's an enduring love affair?
Well, I think it's for some people and not others. I think that we've seen a lot of people slip away, but the statistics say that a lot of people have carried on. We just need the good weather, because if the weather's variable and not very nice, people don't get in their gardens, and being in your garden stimulates sales because people see gaps in the plants, or they realise their garden furniture needs replacing, or their pots are looking tatty. So they need to be outside to see it.
And for other buyers, what do you think buyers are looking at right now in terms of strategy for businesses?
I think basically similar to me, in the sense that we're trying to find the new products, the more sustainable products, and new ideas. We all love a new idea. We have to not remember, we've got to remember the basics and the things that always work, but we need to just keep adding a bit of innovation, and Glee can do that.
Thank you so much, Neil, for talking to us at Glee TV, and thank you for watching.